afternoon, or I should say really late evening to everyone. My name is Sam Huffman. I oversee the STEPP Program's social media and marketing, and welcome to our Fireside Chat, our first one of the year for Instagram. And Ashley, I'll let you introduce yourself.
All right. Hey, everyone. I am Ashley Cooper, the transition specialist for the STEPP program. So excited to be on with you guys tonight.
Yes, and thank you again to everyone who's joining. It's a fireside chat, which basically means we're going to be explaining a little bit about the STEP program, our application process, and then we're also going to allow you to ask questions you may have. So we are watching the comments right now. So if you have any questions about the ECU STEP program or maybe even ECU, please drop them in the comments throughout the entire video. We'll stop and we'll do our best to answer them. So Ashley, I'm going to go ahead and pull up the slides and you can take it away.
All right, so I will start by introducing our STEP program staff. So on our team, we are a team of 3, and we have our director, Mr. Adam Denny. He's responsible for the overall mission and vision and leadership of the program. So he provides us guidance and direction for both the students and staff. He oversees our research overlay. He collaborates with university partners and networks and our external partners to oversee that we receive more financial support and also sustaining the STEP program as a whole. And then myself, as a transition specialist, I support students with the application process. But the one unique thing about my job is that I support students while they're still in high school. So during their high school senior year, I support students with a transition curriculum to get them acclimated to coming into ECU. So I support that freshman recruitment into the program, but also helping support them as they get acclimated and matriculate into ECU. And then last but not least, we have Dr. Dietz. Dr. Dietz is the ongoing daily support for the currently enrolled students. So she helps by teaching our STEP curriculum. So students that come in the STEP program, they will take a EDUC class with her, which focuses on developing skills and strategies and resources to help them be successful in all of their classes, such as time management, organization, study skills. She connects them with campus resources as well. And she also is a co-advisor to the students. So students that are in the STEP program have 2 advisors. They have their major advisor, and then they have Dr. Dietz as a co-advisor. The special thing about her role is that she gets to know the students as a learner. And so she helps them navigate with their degree progression by thinking about how to plan out classes in terms of which classes could I take together, or what's the best time of day that I learn. So she also supervises our study hall here. So one of the requirements that a student come in, they have to meet 15 hours of study hall. So she supervises that, and she supervises our program's tutors as well.
A great lineup of staff members that provide so many wonderful resources to our students, Ashley. And real quick, before we go to the next slide, we have some new people that have just joined in to our live stream, which is awesome. Welcome to our fireside chat. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments. We'll pause and we'll answer them live.
Awesome. All right. So I've talked about all of our program staff, and many of you may be asking yourself, what is STEP? So STEP stands for Supporting Transition and Education Through Planning and Partnership. So the STEP program is a comprehensive academic support for students here at East Carolina University. The students in this program must have a diagnosis in a specific learning disability, such as a reading disorder, dyslexia, a disorder of written expression, dysgraphia, or a math disorder, dyscalculia. So in order to meet that eligibility criteria, we do follow ECU's disability support services requirements for that documentation. So if you're concerned about the documentation that you would need
Ashley,
for the STEP program. Yep, go ahead.
I want to interrupt you real quick because we have a question.
Awesome.
One of the questions, I know it's awesome. I love this type of stuff. The question is, how do you determine which applicants get selected? And the second follow-up to that is acceptance based on financial need?
All right, thank you. So since this is a 2-part question, First, one of the things that we look for candidates is that they meet the eligibility criteria of having that specific learning disability. So we are following DSS in terms of disability support services here at the university with the documentation requirements for that. In addition to that, a student applying to our program must meet ECU's minimum course requirements. And you're probably like, what is that? MCR is what admissions says a lot, but in terms of breaking it down, is that you have to meet the required high school courses that you would need in order to apply to the STEP program. And I will say those required courses have been updated. So I would suggest that you check the ECU admissions and required high school courses, because they have updated that to include more classes that will count in place of foreign language. So check that out. We do follow their procedures in terms of what those required classes are. So disability support services is a great resource to check, and then our ECU admissions. In terms of acceptance based on financial aid, no. That's not how we accept students. We take a holistic approach when we're looking at candidates for the STEP program. So, of course, you have to meet those 2 eligibility criteria that I mentioned earlier. So I'll repeat that. You have to have that learning disabilities diagnosis, and then also meet minimum course requirements, making sure you have those required high school courses to enter the university. But in terms of a specific GPA or SAT score in terms of the STEP program, we do not have that. We take a holistic approach. We get to know the students as a learner, and thinking about all the resources that we have here at the STEP program, we ensure that those resources that we have align to the sports that that student needs. So we're looking at a lot of different factors, and we do have an interview process for the STEP program. So if we have that first phase, we do that initial review of your application. If you are selected to move on to the next phase, we do have an interview process, which occurs kind of later in the year, late July. We inform the students who are selected for interviews. And then once we select interviews, students come in and they will interview. So it's a whole day activity of the interview process, but it's also for you to get to know expectations, but also get to know us as a program. So we're not just interviewing the student. The students are also interviewing us to see if it's a good fit, or the comprehensive supports that we have aligned to what they need for success. And then after that process, we do meet as a team. So you will interview with our entire staff. So our director, Adam Denny, our instructional specialist, Dr. Dietz, and then myself. And then after that, we kind of come together as a group, take that holistic approach to understanding each student as a learner. And then we go through a selection process and select 10 students for the STEP program. And then we also select a wait list. And then we also have, unfortunately, some students that we have to decline. And that's kind of the whole process as a nutshell in terms of from beginning to end.
It's quite comprehensive. So thank you, Laura Bell 1234 for that question. Again, if you're just now joining us, feel free to drop your questions in the comments. That's what we're here for. And Laura Bell 1234, if you have any more questions throughout the Fireside Chat, drop them in the comments. We're happy to help you. Or if it's more personal, you can also just send us a direct message as well. Ashley, do you want me to continue with this slide or go to the next slide?
We can go to the next slide. All right, so I'm going to take you guys through our application website tool that we have on our website. So a student coming in the STEP program, if you are visiting our website, step.ecu.edu, let me say that again, step.ecu.edu, you would go to our apply page. So you would click apply, and if you scroll down, we have a new website tool there. And this helps you figure out when do you have to apply to the STEP program. So I'll preface this in saying that students apply to our program during their junior year of high school. So if you're still unsure about when you apply, you would go here and select your year. And once you select your year that you're graduating, it'll let you know if you're in the process of being able to apply to the STEP program. So for instance, if you're graduating in 2024, our application for 2024 has closed. However, I encourage you to reach out to me because there are still resources that are a part of our student academic success services here at the university that I will be happy to share with you about other resources that are available to students on campus. But if you are graduating in 2025, however, you are on track to apply right now. Our application opened on December 19th, and it is going to close on May 15th of this year. So if you are thinking about applying to the STEP program, you are graduating in 2025, and you will hear us say a lot on this live 2025 cohort. Students come into our program as a cohort. So each of those 10 students will be a part of that 2025 cohort. So, but if you're out there and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't graduate until 2 years from now, you are early, which is great. So we are not gonna sway you away. So if you are thinking about coming to STEP and you graduate in 2027, we are super excited about you being up here and listening to us. And you are still feel free to contact us to get more information, because I'm that resource for our students here to get into the STEP program, but I'm also that resource for students with learning disabilities to get into college. So thinking about that aspect and thinking about where you are in your transition, please reach out. No question is I won't turn away any questions. So any question that you have about STEP or resources that we have at the university, I will be happy to share that with you.
She is a wonderful resource for sure. I'll head to the next slide.
All right. So I like to preface this by saying that students in the STEP program, if you're coming in as a first-year student, the university does require you to stay on campus. And I get a lot of questions about how does this cohort model work? Are all the students living together? Well, so a student in a STEP program, we do reserve a space on campus for you to live, but you won't room with another person that's in your cohort. So students in the STEP program don't room with other STEP students during their first year. I'm gonna say that because you could possibly room with another STEP student as an upperclassman, but during your first year, you won't room with another STEP student. You will room in a reserved space on campus. And right now, the space that we have reserved is on the west end of campus, which is very convenient for a lot of reasons. So right now, students, Garrett Hall is up there, but it's other choices. So I can't guarantee where students will live each year, but they would be on the west end of campus, which is close to our Student Recreation Center and our main campus Student Center. They have it's very cool to walk around the STEP program because around the campus, because there's a lot of resources in terms of decorations and things around campus that it helps with social gatherings and interaction. So walking around campus, you are very close to all of your classes, and you're very close to the STEP program's office, which we call the Cove. So if you ever hear and you hear us say the Cove, that's where students come to do their study hall activities. And then the last thing, that you are really close to dining options on campus. So you will be really close to the West End dining hall, but you have a plethora of choices on campus. So you have 2 dining halls to choose from. You have Chick-fil-A on campus. They have a pirate market where you have some grab and go options. So if you're on the move, you can grab and go things. And then we have a Starbucks if you're interested in coffee or refreshers. They have that on campus. And we have Einstein Bagels. So if you're thinking about a quick meal, get a quick breakfast in, get some carbs in to get that walk to your class, those are some options that we have on campus. But let's explore some of the options that we have here at East Carolina. So now that we've explored those options for dining, I will say that as students on campus, they have the option of 2 dining halls. So we have the Todd Dining Hall, and then we have the West End Dining Hall. Students in the STEP program are really close to the West End of campus. So they probably will go to the West End dining hall more likely more than often because they're really close to it. But students living on campus, they have the option to have a meal plan. And with those meal plans, they get unlimited access to the dining hall. So you get unlimited swipes to go in and access food. So if you're a parent and you're worried about your child getting a nutritious, balanced daily breakfast, lunch, and dinner, that is a great option for students because they have a plethora of options in the dining hall. So it's set up kind of like a buffet in the sense of you can go in and ask for certain food items at different. They kind of have stations, so where you can explore different food options. So there's a variety of things to choose from. And then it's a variety of meal plan options to choose from as well. All the meal plans have unlimited access to the dining hall, so that's great. So that students always have access to a balanced, nutritious meal. But one really cool thing that we have here at the university is that students can now order food to be delivered to them via robot.
My favorite thing on campus.
I see the robots everywhere. You have to look out
Everywhere.
and it's cool that you can order your food and have it delivered to you. So if you're in the library and you're studying extra hard and you're like, oh man, I need to take a break and get something to eat, but I don't have a lot of time, you can go ahead and order your meal and get it delivered here, and you can still have time to study. That's really awesome.
And here's a really cool benefit I'll also throw, Ashley, before we show the informational video about the Starship robots. ECU's campus, it's big. It is big. And maybe you're in your sophomore, junior, senior year and you're living on College Hill, which is on the other side of campus. And you want, something from Starbucks or Raising Cane's. Those robots can go all the way over there, which is a great benefit. Because a lot of campuses, it's a little more limited of where the robots can go. So that's one neat little perk, I guess you could say, too, about being here at ECU. But I'll go ahead and play the video if you're okay with that.
I'm ready.
All right.
All right. So if that doesn't make you interested in visiting ECU, what will? Those robots are really cool to look at. So what we suggest that all students do that are thinking about coming to ECU and the STEP program is visit ECU and the STEP program. So the STEP program has open house, in person, and virtual. So we have two different options for you to interact and kind of get a grasp of what it's like to be a student in STEP. So we have an upcoming open house on February 16th at 9 a.m. And then we have one on March 22nd at 2 p.m. The reason I alternate the times for the open house is to give you the flexibility to book a tour with ECU as well. So booking a tour with ECU admissions gives you the opportunity to see East Carolina University as well as the STEP program. So for our open house, we present STEP, but we always encourage students to book a ECU tour because STEP is only a small part of your experience here at the university. And we want to make sure that you have explored ECU and seen what it has to offer you. And then in terms of virtual, those are group sessions that we hold on Teams. I have a session coming up on February 27th at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. And then on March 28th, at 3 p.m. I will say that March 28th at 3 p.m. is very intentional because you can attend our ECU STEP open house at 3 and then also come in for our application workshop if you are thinking about applying to STEP or if you have already started your application for the STEP program.
Sounds like a double win-win.
Yeah, it's a win-win that day. You get to spend 2 hours with me.
What better way? And you get to spend in Pirate Nation, the best nation on planet Earth. Go next slide.
All right, so our applications are now open. So if you are graduated in 2025, or if you are a current junior and you are thinking about applying to our STEP program, the applications are now open. Remember that we only accept 10 students per fall semester, but don't let that deter you from applying to the STEP program. So students apply directly to our program. So if you visit our website at step.ecu.edu, you can learn more about how to prepare to apply. So making sure you're graduating by 2025, making sure you have a current psychoeducational evaluation. So remember those evaluations. Documentation requirements are supported by Disability Support Services. We have it linked to our website. We want to challenge yourself to meet minimum course requirements, or those ECU admissions required high school courses. Those are linked there as well. And then also we encourage you to review our essay prompts, because the cool thing about the STEP program is that when you apply, we want to see your drafts of your essays, your outlines, everything you use to make your essay, in addition to your final essay. So we want you to submit your drafts and your final essay. So we encourage you to look at those resources to help you start preparing to apply. But on this next slide, if you are having any trouble with the application, or if you need support with applying to the STEP program, we do hold application workshops. So you can schedule a virtual application session with me, and I can answer any questions that you have about applying or our application process. We do have 2 upcoming workshops, and I do have I know we post all of our workshop dates, so those are located on our website as well. But our 2 upcoming, one is on February 28th at 4, and then one is on March 28th at 4. So the application.
Ashley,
Go
I
ahead.
want to interrupt you real quick because we have another question. How soon after the application is submitted do you hear if you are accepted, waitlisted, or denied?
Okay, that's a great question. So after your application is submitted, you will move on to if you are selected to move on to the next phase, you will be invited in for an interview. And then after we interview, we take some time to select the students. And then I would say around August, late August, early September, we send out notifications for the students that are accepted, waitlisted, or declined. So that information happens late August, early September. And it's in line with the application portal for ECU in terms of students applying to ECUs. So one of the things that students have to do, they apply to the STEP program. If they are selected to be in the STEP program, we have a contract that you sign, and then you're saying that you're committing to the STEP program. If you do commit to the STEP program, then the natural progression is for you to apply to ECU. And so I actually work with that timeline and let you know when it's time for you to actually apply to ECU. But that's the typical timeline and process. So a student would hear back from us late August, early September with their determination or decision from STEP.
That's a really, really great question. And if you do have any further questions concerning our timeline, I think this goes great with our. Actually, I'm going to go to the next slide. I think Ashley's contact information. Sorry to skip ahead, Ashley, but I just thought this would be a good connection with this of reaching out to Ashley if you do have more in-depth questions concerning that. But let me go back because we have just a few more minutes. But if you're just now joining us, we actually just had a few more people join. Welcome to our Fireside Chat. We're still on for just several more minutes. If you do have any questions about STEP or ECU, Ashley is here to answer them. So drop them in the comments. No question is too big or too small. That is what Fireside Chats are here for, is to inform you and to also answer your questions. Ashley, I'll let you cover this slide real fast.
Okay, no problem. So we do have a couple of things added to our website. We have an application checklist. This application checklist gives you an overview of all the things that are required for the application. So I will let you know that our application is comprehensive. So there is a lot of forms and information that you would have to submit on our application, and we created this one sheeter checklist to help you navigate our application process and which the materials that you would need. One cool thing about our checklist is that at the bottom, it has a unique space that you can save your return code. So for the application, if you want to return and come back later and save it and come back later to the application, you will need a return code to get back into each form. And so each of those return codes, you have the option to write those or type those into the checklist. So you're able to refer back to it, and it's all saved in one spot for you. So you're able to navigate that process. In addition to the checklist, if you need more answers and you're like, oh my gosh, I emailed Miss Cooper, but it is Friday at 9 p.m. She doesn't come back to work until Monday. How am I going to get the answer? We have an application guide. Our guide is very comprehensive. There's a lot of information there, but it's a great tool and resource that you're able to go in and find specific answers to questions. So if you have a question about what you need for your high school transcript, it's a button there that you can just push, and it takes you straight down on the website to the high school transcript checklist, and you can go navigate straight to that and get information about what you would need in terms of documentation. It also has all the information in terms of what you would need to submit to our application, which is a great tool. Even though it could be overwhelming, I will say it's very text heavy. But we've added some additional tools to our guide, including video tutorials that takes you through how to apply to the STEP program. So it's a really good resource. And always, if you have questions, remember to reach out to me.
For sure. And those are our main contact points there, but I'm just gonna actually fast forward still again to yours, Ashley, since we have just a few more minutes. Um, I know there are people that have asked some questions, and they have been fantastic questions tonight. And you may be rewatching this because we will be sharing this after it is live, even though we're live right now. We will be having this available. You can rewatch it. And if you do come across questions, there's Ashley's contact information, or you can send us a direct message. We're here to help you in any way possible. I think Ashley made a great point about our application guide. It's over the weekend and you have a burning question. That's your North Star. It's a great place to go to and find many answers there. Ashley, I'll let you state anything else you need to state or any other tips as we kind of wrap things up.
Yep. All right. So if you do have any questions about the STEP program, feel free to reach out to me. I'm the point of contact for anything related to the application, and also an overview of the STEP program in general. I will point out that if you are not available on the dates of our open house or our virtual events, and you're like, oh my gosh, I still want to learn about the STEP program, but I'm not available for any of those dates, what do? You just contact me and I can schedule a one-on-one info session. So if you need to come in on a certain day to get a tour, or if you need to book a virtual session and meet with me one-on-one, I am available to make that happen. And I try to be flexible with my schedule because I know that everyone has different schedules and it's really hard to make everyone's schedule meet, especially with students in high school and they have to be at school and then they have certain days that they have off. So I am flexible with our dates and times. You just have to reach out so we can schedule a time that's convenient for both STEP and you.
And actually, we do have one more question that came in. This will be our final question for this live stream. Ray of Flight 48103 asks, how many students are accepted each year for STEP?
So only 10 students are accepted each year. Don't let that deter you from applying to our STEP program, though. We get, and sometimes this question comes up, how many applications do you get each year? So we're not getting 200 and 300 applications. We're getting a range of around 30 to 40 applications per academic year. So 10 students are accepted each fall semester. I will say the students come in as a cohort. So students apply to our program junior year of high school. During senior year, I supply those students with a transition curriculum. I also do boot camp for those students coming in as well. And so a student applying to our program applies during junior year, is accepted, and we only accept 10 students.
That is a really great question. I know we've had some really good questions tonight. We've had lots of viewers and new faces, or new users, I guess you could say in social media terms. But we're going to go ahead and wrap up this live stream. But if you're rewatching it, don't forget you can still ask your questions by sending us an email or just send us a direct message, and we are happy to help in any way possible. Ashley, is there anything else you want to add before I close things out?
Nope, just book a time and catch me in the cove.
Her signature line. All right, well, that does it for our first Fireside Chat on Instagram of 2024. Thank you so much for joining us. We hope you have a wonderful rest of the night, and go Pirates.